All right, let's talk weather, because a major event is unfolding across Tamil Nadu and its neighbors, and it's bringing the threat of some serious, heavy rain. Today, we're going to break down exactly what's causing all this, which areas are on high alert, and, of course, what to expect in the next few days. So let's jump right in.
So the big question on everyone's mind is what's really driving this intense weather? This isn't just your typical seasonal shower. Nope, there's a very specific and pretty powerful system at play here, and we're going to get into exactly what that is.
So the main player here, the culprit if you will, is a powerful low-pressure area that's basically parked itself right near Sri Lanka. But what does that actually mean for you? Well, let's take a closer look at the mechanics behind this whole thing.
Think of this low-pressure system as the engine that's driving absolutely everything we're seeing. It actually formed southeast of Sri Lanka and has been slowly tracking west-northwest. That path has put it in the perfect position to really impact the Indian coast, and it's key to understanding what's happening right now.
So what exactly is a low-pressure area? Well, you can think of it like a giant atmospheric vacuum cleaner. Seriously, the lower pressure in the middle starts sucking in all the air from around it. And since that air is coming from the warm waters of the sea, it is just loaded with moisture, which is the perfect fuel for creating these massive clouds and that heavy, persistent rain.
Okay, so here's how that engine is actually working right now. First up, you've got these easterly winds packed with moisture flowing in right off the sea. Second, these winds are all crashing into each other, what meteorologists call convergence, all along the coastline, from Andhra Pradesh all the way down to southern Tamil Nadu. This massive collision of air has nowhere else to go but up, and that forces all that moist air to rise, cool, and just explode into the dense rain clouds we're seeing.
And look, this isn't just some future prediction. This system is already here, and it's already making a huge impact. Let's just take a look at the rainfall numbers from the last 24 hours to see just how powerful this thing really is.
Just look at this number, 107 millimeters. 107! That is over 10 centimeters of rain recorded in just one spot, Naluvadapati in the Nagapattinam district. That is an incredible amount of rain in a really short period of time, and it just goes to show you the kind of intensity we're talking about here. And this table, well, it really tells the story of where this system has been focusing its energy so far. If you look at the top 5 locations, you can see a really clear pattern emerging. The heaviest rain has been just hammering the coastal districts of Nagapattinam and Mayiladuthurai. These areas have been right in the crosshairs.
Okay, so that's the story so far. Now let's switch gears and turn to today's forecast to see how this weather system is going to evolve across Tamil Nadu. We'll break it down region by region, and we'll start with the areas that really need to be on the highest alert.
All right, for today, the absolute bullseye for all this rain is going to be the southern districts and those coastal delta regions. These areas are right in the direct path of the storm, so they're expected to see widespread, heavy downpours, with some spots even getting hit with very heavy rainfall all day long. So, specifically, if you're living in Kanyakumari, Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, Ramanathapuram, or those delta districts like Tanjavur, Tiruvallur, Nagapattinam, and Mayiladuthurai, you really need to be prepared. The forecast also includes Cuddalore. And hey, it's not just the rain you need to worry about. Be ready for some strong surface winds gusting between 25 and 35 kilometers per hour in these coastal areas.
Okay, so what about everyone else? What about the rest of the state? Well, as these powerful rain bands start pushing farther inland, the interior and northern districts, including Chennai, are also going to see some pretty significant rainfall. It might not be as nonstop or intense as along the coast, but it's definitely something to be aware of.
We're talking about major hubs like Tiruchirappalli, Madurai, Salem, and Coimbatore. And for Chennai and its neighboring districts of Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram, the rain is expected to be kind of on and off, but some of those downpours could certainly become quite heavy at times.
Of course, a big weather system like this doesn't really care about state borders, does it? So let's zoom out for a sec and see what's happening with our neighbors in Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Sri Lanka.
Okay, let's look at Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. For Kerala, you can expect pretty widespread rain, anything from moderate to heavy, with the southern and central parts of the state probably getting the worst of it. Over in Andhra Pradesh, though, the story's a bit different. The impact is more targeted, with the heavy rain really focused on those southern coastal districts that border Tamil Nadu.
So, the key spots to keep an eye on are Thiruvananthapuram and Kollam in Kerala, and Tirupati and Nellore over in Andhra Pradesh. And, of course, we can't forget Sri Lanka, which is right in the thick of it. The northern districts there will see heavy rain, while the southern parts of the island will get off a bit lighter with just some showers.
So that's the situation for today. But the big question is, what happens next? Let's look ahead to the forecast for the next several days and see just how this whole weather story is expected to evolve. So here's the game plan, the sequence of events we're all watching. Over the next 36 hours or so, this current system is expected to cross the Kumari Sea area. Then, around November 19th and 20th, things could get interesting. We're watching for a new circulation to form up northeast of Sri Lanka, and that could develop into another low-pressure system. Looking even further out, around the 23rd to the 25th, the models are hinting at yet another potential storm. But there's a pretty big catch.
And here is the catch. The computer models, well, they just can't agree. Some of them show a strong storm heading toward Andhra Pradesh, while others show a much weaker system moving towards Tamil Nadu. So the experts have some very direct advice here. Because of these huge differences, it's probably better to just ignore these long-range predictions for now.
So what's the bottom line here? It's simple, really. Focus on what's happening right now and in the next 24 to 48 hours. This is a very dynamic situation, and that long-range outlook is still very much up in the air. And that leaves us with this huge question. As this current system finally moves on, what's going to take its place? How will that next potential system evolve, and what's it going to mean for the region? We're going to be watching very closely. For now, please stay informed about your local conditions, and most importantly, stay safe.